Great. Welcome, everybody. This is our second speaker series of the season. And today we have only Zoom presentations. Unfortunately, the hybrid meetings did not work out quite as we'd like, when COVID didn't die out quite as we'd like. But I hope you're all healthy and at home having a comfortable time. And you can meet our presenter, who is Kevin May. Kevin is a member of the Camera Club, and he's a working photographer. And today he's going to give us a behind the scenes look at what it's like to do some professional camera work. Kevin?
Thanks, Holly. Hey, everybody, how are we doing today? Hopefully good. Moved here to Green Valley about 2.5 years ago and have been here and absolutely love being here. So happy to be part of the Camera Club as well. We've had a really good time. We've got a Monday morning multimedia SIG. If anybody's interested in doing what we're doing here, join us on Monday mornings. We have a lot of fun, and we share videos and stuff and make it a learning experience, and makes it good. Just to give you a quick brief history, I went to school in Peoria, Illinois at Bradley University, and I've got a degree in photojournalism. And when I was younger, I really wanted to shoot for Sports Illustrated because I love shooting sports. And while I was going to Bradley, I did some internships. I did one at the local newspaper, and I didn't like it. And then after that, the next semester, I did one at a commercial photo studio. And I really liked it, and I knew that's what I wanted to do. So I spent 6 years at that studio as an assistant photographer. And basically, as an assistant, you're doing all the jobs the photographer doesn't want to do. So you're having to carry the equipment and you're setting stuff up. But it's really a good learning experience because you get to see how to do things every day, photography-wise, lighting-wise, how to work with clients. So it really was a very positive experience. And so then after that, I went out on my own 1990, and I started freelancing, basically self-employed, and I've worked for myself ever since. And so I've been very fortunate to be able to do all kinds of photo shoots, go to places where only those people that work in those places, the general public would never get to go. Let's say like an operating room or the air tower at the airport kind of a thing, the control tower, stuff like that. And so anyway, that's just a quick, brief little history. Just also quickly, commercial photography. You're like, well, what's a commercial photographer? Well, basically a commercial photographer is somebody who does pretty much about anything except for portraits and weddings. So none of that. It's business photography. I do a ton of work for Caterpillar. That's they're based out of Peoria. And so anyway, I've had a long relationship with them going back almost 40 years now. And pretty much since moving to Green Valley, that's about the only client that I am doing work for. I say I'm semi-retired. And I've said, as long as I'm still having fun doing this, I will do it. And as long as they continue to call, I will do it. So for the time being, we'll just keep rocking and rolling. I do photos. I also do shoot video. And really now video is the main driver. There's very little photography that's done anymore. And then I also do video editing. So it's kind of nice. It's a nice mix of things. Now, how this all started, we have on our Monday morning multimedia SIG, I showed a behind the scenes video of what it was like to be a photographer and what goes on for the shoot. And so basically, that's how this presentation started. What I'd like to show you to start is I've been only shooting video for about 6 years now. And so when I got going, I had to let people know that I was shooting video. And so what I did is I put together, we call it a demo reel or a sizzle reel. And in the case of the one that I've put together, it's high energy, it's rock and roll, a lot of quick cuts, quick shots, and it's only a couple minutes long. So you're trying to get people excited about what you do. Now, when we're done with this it's only 2 minutes. if you got a question, shout it out. If it's a question about equipment or photography or video or whatever. And then after we answer some questions or no questions, we'll go on to the behind the scenes video and then go from there. So let me share the screen here. Give me a second. Okay. Okay, so that is the sizzle reel. There's a variety of cameras that I'm using for that, from a early modified drone to a 35 millimeter, my 35 millimeter still camera, and then using that, and then also some GoPro stuff. Since doing this, I've graduated to actual video cameras that I now use, and that works out great. The other goodie is I've after like a couple of years, I had thought to myself, okay, I really need to update this with new video because I've got new video to share. Well, I never have any time, and at some point the work just keeps coming in, and so here we are 6 years removed, and I've not updated this thing at all. So and it's funny, nobody's asked to see it. Pretty much now, my Caterpillar people that I work with, they know me, and they know what I do, so we don't have any issues with that. So there you go.
So was it made as basically a portfolio, a video portfolio, how you worked?
Yeah, Holly, basically just to kind of,
that was cool.
Especially making the transition from being just a still photographer to now shooting video. You've got to show people something. You can't just say, well, now I'm shooting video, and they're like, well, what have you done? And
right.
You go, well, you know me as a still photographer, but you don't know me as a video photographer. So that was a lot of fun to put together. And like I said, just super, super high energy, made it a lot of fun.
Okay, so are there other questions at this point? You have to remember, unmute yourself while you ask or put it in chat.
Not a question, but a comment. Because there was so much there and it went so fast, it seemed about 3 times as long as 2 minutes.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Well, we're trying to, with something like that, Chuck, I really want to try to create that energy. And also part of it too is the technical limitations of the 35 millimeter still camera, not having a fluid head that can move. So anyway, you in a sense, you're kind of, I don't say you're cheating, but you're just giving little quick bits. If each shot had to be 10 seconds, then it wouldn't be nearly as exciting. And I think it also shows there's a bunch of different things that I'd already done on video to give people an idea, especially like the agriculture stuff and some of the other stuff, just showing that, okay, I do understand composition. I know how to make a pretty picture and go from there.
That was very cool.
All right.
So we have 37 people watching this now, and of course it'll be on YouTube, so we'll have more, but why don't you go on with the next one?
You bet. All right. So this is the behind the scenes video that got this whole day of me talking started. Basically what I was doing, this happened this past June here. I had a Caterpillar shoot. I was going to be going up to Washington State and Oregon to shoot some forestry products, Caterpillar forestry products. And so what I thought I would do is I would document the whole process from getting started, packing equipment, the travel, being on the shoot, all the other stuff that goes on. So that's what this video is about. It's about 12 minutes long. And so let's give that a try. We'll see what we've got. I get people asking me about doing photo shoots and video shoots and what that is like when you're on the road. So hey, join me on this road trip and I'll show you what happens, good, bad, and ugly. The first thing that I'm going to need to do is figure out what still photography and video equipment I'm going to need, and then I pull those road cases from storage. So one of the questions I get a lot is, gee, Kevin, why don't you fly more? Why do you drive? Well, this is why. We've got all kinds of toys and goodies. In this road case, we've got the video cameras. We've got a couple of video cameras. There's a 4K and a 1080p camera. We've also got a couple external monitors. We've got our lavalier microphones, got some shotgun mics, and a few other goodies. You can see we've got a couple of drones that we take. They're identical. So in case we crash one, which does happen occasionally, it's an expensive mistake, but it does happen. You got another one, you can go right to the bag, and there you go. There's your second drone. We've also got another 1080 video camera that we take, and have that as well as another backup. It's always good to have backups. We've got a bunch of lenses in here. There's about 8 lenses, all different sizes. They all have different purposes. We've also got a little Canon 405 video camera. That's nice for working in tight spots. We've got our road case that's got some of the chargers for the drone and some of the cameras. In the yellow case is all the GoPro stuff. So all the mounts and the extra cameras. I've got 3 GoPro cameras that I use for that. And then I've also got my 35 millimeter photography bag. So that's got 3 lenses in it, a couple of bodies. And then we got a couple of tripods, a video tripod and the still tripod. So as you can see, there's lots and lots of stuff. So now what we'll try to do is get all that in the car and we'll see what happens. It's day 1. Got 1,000 miles to drive today. As you can see, my hands are on 10 and 2, trying to be safe. Don't want to get into any trouble. We're just going to rock and roll today. We've put miles on and get to destination 1 sometime tonight, and away we go. I left Green Valley this morning a little after 5 o'clock, and here it is almost 8 o'clock at night. Driven about 950 miles today, so it's been a long day, but a good day. And the good thing is I will have a short day tomorrow, not nearly as bad as today. I would always rather do that because then that second day, get into the hotel at a more normal time and can get rested up and ready to go for the first day of shooting. Now the other fun is tonight when I get to the hotel here, all the things that are in the car, all that gear that you saw me put in this morning will all have to come out of the car. Everything has to go up in the room. You can't leave anything in the car. So that's always fun as well, and that routine happens every night and every morning. You have to bring everything out of the hotel room and put it back in the car. So there you go. It's day 2 and I'm back on the road again. Was able to sleep in a little bit. It's 6:30, so a little bit of a later start than I normally would have. Got 467 miles to get to the hotel. So about an 8-hour drive today, 15 yesterday. That's 23 hours of drive. Last night I get to the hotel, quick story. I always love to tell quick stories. Last night I get to the hotel, there are no carts. Now you've seen the amount of gear I have. And so I ask at the front desk, they look on the security cameras, no carts in the hallway. So I tell them I'll go run a couple quick errands, I'll come back about a half hour later, still no carts. They look on the cameras, no carts. They were very kind, they did offer to help, and I said, you don't realize how much stuff I have. So needless to say, I had to carry everything up to the room, and that took 6 trips. Thank God this morning there were carts, and so it only took 2 trips. So that's one of the fun things of being on the road with a bunch of stuff like I've got. Sometimes it's always an adventure. Your grease, pull that grease gun up just a little higher for me. There you go, good. Looks like we got the GoPro all set up, ready to go. You can see I got the whole shot, the wide shot. I can see exactly what the operator sees. I can see his controls and what he's doing. So we'll rock and roll. We'll let him do his thing. The day's almost done. We have had a long, busy day today. Shot lots of footage. We've had the GoPro in the cab, as you saw. We've got the drone going. That's been great. Got lots of great footage from the air with that. And we got a lot of great footage from the ground too. So the machine's still working. I got a little bit more to do. We're at the end of a hot day. The beer's gonna taste real good tonight. So we're back at the hotel. The work day is done. It was a long, hot, dusty day, and you're thinking, why am I looking at batteries? Well, this is part of the fun. When I get back to the hotel, we have to charge all the goodies from the day. So we have batteries for the still camera, and we have the drone controller, and we've got all the drone batteries. There's 11 batteries that have to be charged for the drone. And we've also got the iPad that we're charging. We use that with the drone, and more drone batteries and GoPro batteries. And then we also have the 4K camera has got its video batteries as well. It's day 2, and you can see the machines are already out here working. We got a great day to shoot again, so that's going to be good. We were out here bright and early, about 6:30 this morning. We already started shooting, so we'll rock and roll today, and then we're heading out, and we'll go to the next location tomorrow. You don't want me to get a phone call in the middle of this? We don't want anybody to get a phone call. Okay, let's go ahead and set up. That's a problem. We have 5 machines here currently, and we may move a couple One of the things we're wanting to get is some ground shots here. And we don't want everything to be from the drone because it all looks the same. But the problem is you can't always see the machine. So having to wait for him to come out of the clear, and then we'll get some stuff from the ground. Every night when we get back to the hotel room, besides getting the batteries all charged up for all the cameras, we also have to download all the content from the day's shoot. So in the case of today, we had GoPro, drone, still, and ground video, probably in excess of about 250 gig during the day. All right, it's day 3 of our shoot. As you can see, we are on top of a mountain. We've got the fog rolling in the background, and we got a different machine, obviously different locations, so it'll be interesting to see what kind of stuff we get today. We'll have some fun.
AC, that's good. I haven't had it.
Well, the photo shoot is over. I am in the car. It's 5 o'clock in the morning, and I've got a 2-day drive back to Green Valley. We had a really good shoot. We lucked out. The weather was absolutely perfect. No rain, because that usually can cause a lot of problems for us. So all in all, I'd say everything worked out good. Shot about 600 gigabytes of video and photography, so there'll be a lot of footage and photos to go through when I get back home. It should be fun. It's the end of the 2-day drive, and I'm back in Green Valley and almost home, and very happy about that. It's been a long 7 days, driven 3,600 miles. We had 2 locations, one in Oregon, the other in Washington. Now I'll get the rental car unpacked, the equipment put on the shelves, and then the rental car returned. After that, it's time to get on the computer. We got a lot of work to do there too. One of the other things I learned a long time ago about using rental cars for photo shoots is that they get pretty dirty inside and out from these shoots. So before I return the car back to the rental car company, I usually run it through the car wash, get it all cleaned out inside and out, and that avoids the $250 cleaning charge. Now that we're back home, before we can start on anything else, we need to get all that content from the shoot into the computer so we can work with it. When you see this content going into the computer, it's not actually going into the computer. I've got it going into an external RAID hard drive, and this is one of the drives that I use for video editing. It's a 48 terabyte hard drive, and it's amazing how fast you can fill this thing up. Now that we've got all the content into the computers from the photo shoot, I've got computer number 1, and it's processed all the still and drone photography into JPEGs. We shoot in a RAW format, and the computer will convert everything into JPEGs. The second thing that we have the computer do is ask it to make contact sheets, which you're seeing now. And that puts 30 images on a page. It's got the file number of each image, and the client can look through these, and it makes selection of images much easier. Now I've got the second computer working in Final Cut Pro. We've added the time code text boxes that you see in the center, and what this does, it allows the client to view the interview with the customer, and then they can tell me what time to start a certain clip and then what time to end. You've got 2 boxes. The first box is the source box. The second box is the camera and the serial number of the camera. In the source box, it's showing you the time in hours, minutes, seconds, and also frame number, which is the last number. We'll generate a low-res file for the client with this text on the screen. From there, they can tell me exactly what clips they want to use in the video, and I can go right to the source code and find that section of time, and away we go. One of the other things I have to do at the end of the shoot is go through all my receipts from the road trip. So I'll have receipts for gas, food, hotel, rental car. I need to organize all those, and then those are added to the invoice for the client. Well, we're just about wrapped up with this portion of the photo shoot. I'm taking a hard drive, which I've loaded all the content on, and I'm going over to UPS. I'm going to be sending this off to the client in Illinois, and then he can start looking at all the photos and the video. From there, in a couple of weeks, I'll be working on editing from this project. He'll look at stuff, tell me what clips he wants, what he doesn't want, and we'll probably put anywhere from 3 to 4 videos together from this shoot. I hope you've enjoyed seeing this behind the scenes look at a photo shoot, what all goes on from the driving to the equipment to the fun that we have. I really enjoy doing this kind of work, and if I didn't enjoy it, I would not be doing it. So thanks again, everybody. Okay, there you go.
Yeah, impressive. It looks like your life's work for sure.
Well, definitely. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy being around, especially these Caterpillar machines, whether it's a forestry thing like this shoot was, or a mining application or a construction site. It's always fun to see these machines working, pushing dirt, building things. It really is a lot of fun.
Is it Caterpillar that got you familiar with Green Valley because of their proving ground?
Yeah, actually, because I've been coming to the Tucson area for probably, over probably close to 40 years. And basically, for those that don't know, Caterpillar has a big proving grounds demo area that's right off of Duval Mine Road and Interstate 19. If you go west on Duval Mine Road, about 5 miles, that's where Caterpillar's facility is. Now it's up there in the hills, the mountains. Tanaha Hills is the name of the facility. You'll never see it from the road, and you don't know it's there unless you're somehow affiliated with Caterpillar.
Yeah,
But
in the past, they had a couple of field trips. We had a couple of field trips there.
Yeah, definitely.
They hosted us. It was nice.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun to be around, especially when you get around some of these really big pieces of equipment. You don't have a concept of how big something is until you get next to it. Like, let's say one of the big mining trucks, the tires are 16 feet tall, and to the top of the cab, it's probably 35 feet, and you just off from a distance, you see it and it just doesn't look real big, but then you get up there and it's like, wow, this is really a big piece of equipment.
Kevin, we got a couple of questions.
Sure.
How frequently do you find a customer who is sophisticated enough to make choices about video clip selection and whatnot? That's not generally been our experience. We end up doing most of the clip selection and editing decisions.
Sure. Brian, with that, I would say really with and I'm going to show one of the final videos here after we're done chatting about all this. Normally they're going to select the interview stuff that they want to hear, whatever they're talking about the machinery or the service or whatever it is. And then I will sit there and I will find clips, B-roll clips. For those of you who don't know, that's the footage where you'll see the action footage that's going on. The person is talking during the interview and there's some action footage going on. And so I'll select that. They will then take a look at it. I call it a rough cut. Basically, the client will take a look at it. They'll see how the interview sounds. They'll see the footage. If they don't like something, they'll suggest changes. And then we go from there. When that's all said and done, the footage, the final video has to go to CAT's legal department and CAT's brand department. And so legal looks at it for any safety issues that may be going on, so they cannot get sued. The other goodie is the brand people will look at stuff too to make sure that the font is right, or there's some issue with the text in terms of how it looks or whatever. And so there are rules that we do have to follow for that. I'm fortunate that pretty much the other goodie that happens with, at least with my Caterpillar people, they are so dang busy with everything else that short of doing that interview part, they just turn it over to me and say, okay, run with it. And then they value my taste of what I'm picking in terms of shots, and away we go. So the process is pretty simple in that regard, but it does take time.
I can see where after 40 years, you would have achieved some rapport. The other question we've got is, you came home with hundreds of gigabytes worth of material. How much of that material do you end up saving somewhere in an archive?
Yes.
Our hard drives are up to here already, and can't imagine dealing on that scale.
Yeah, basically I save everything. So we end up, I've got a library that's behind me of hard drives. I do, and the other thing that I do, and you can appreciate this, I do an A and a B drive, I call it. So in the library, instead of just putting everything onto one hard drive, and if the drive, dies, you're screwed. Well, if you've got an A and a B drive, you've got everything backed up in two spots. So in case one of the drives goes bad, you've got the other one to go to. Just as an example, I just today got 4 12 terabyte hard drives, externals, and I'm now up to video drive 20. So
Wow.
there's a lot of content. I'd say there's probably 150 terabyte just of video content, at least. And on the still side, I probably have well in excess of 200 to 300 terabytes of still pictures. And that's backed up on Blu-ray hard drive, or on Blu-ray discs. So that does a pretty good job too.
So do
Yeah,
they
I'm sorry.
belong to Caterpillar or to you?
Well, Caterpillar takes everything, and I will send a drive, like a nice little, here's a nice little 1 or 2 terabyte hard drive, external. So like in the case of the video that you just saw, or the shoot that we did, I send one of these hard drives to the client, they keep it, and then I keep it as a backup as well. I'd say probably about 80 to 85% of the time I'm going to do the editing on the project. There's some projects where I just shoot the project and turn it over to them, and then they have their people. They have internal people. They also have their own internal video people and still photographers. So it works out really good when those guys are busy, or as Brian said, I've been very fortunate after all these years to develop a relationship with these different people that I work with. And they know if they need something, they can call me. If somebody needed something tomorrow, let's say, they know I'll stay up all night if need be to get it done for them. So when you develop that kind of a relationship, people are very loyal, and it's really appreciated after all these years.
Okay, we have some chat questions for you.
Sure. I'm looking
Jack
at them now.
Chirac asks, how does your client actually use the video you create?
Well, Jack, when we're done answering these questions, you're going to see one of the videos that we did from the shoot. We did altogether 4 different videos from this shoot. So we had 2 different interview videos that we did. We did what we call a mood setter video, which is kind of like the sizzle reel that I showed in the beginning. It'll have a bunch of graphics and stuff, and that gets people excited about it. And then the last one was actually one we did with a service tech, which is a person that comes out and fixes the equipment. That's a huge issue right now for Caterpillar and all these trades, plumbers, electricians, everybody like that is getting good young people to want to get into the service industry. These jobs, they pay incredibly well. The benefits are unbelievably good. It's been probably 5 or 6 years since I heard, but the average let's say the first year that you would start as a service tech and you would be out going to work on these machines, working the average amount of overtime, you're in excess of $100,000 a year, plus incredible benefits. Well, when you think about that, here's a kid who doesn't have to go to college and rack up a bunch of college debt. They get the training paid for by the dealerships, and then they start working, they start making money right out of the box. So it's a huge goodie. So anyway, we'll show you one of these videos here when we're done answering. There's one more question we have to answer.
That
here.
is a couple. Do you tend, this is from Tom and Monica Parker. Do you tend to put yourself in the shoes of the target audience when you're out on a shoot? For example, a prospective buyer of a particular piece of CAT equipment.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's really important. One of the most important things when we're showing machinery is the machine working. The customer that's going to buy, let's say they're going to buy this piece of forestry machine or a bulldozer or a backhoe or some sort of goodie. They want to see that product, meaning that piece of machinery, moving product. So like in the case of a bulldozer, they want that thing pushing a lot of dirt. And you want to get a lot of imagery showing that thing really working. And you don't want to have like the bulldozer have like an inch of material in the blade and there's, 8 foot of blade sitting there and there's only an inch of material. Well, customer doesn't want to see that. They want to know they're going to spend a lot of money on this machinery. They want to know that this thing is going to be operating all the time. If there's an issue with service, the thing breaks down or it has some issue, the service is going to be there to fix it. CAT has a really good reputation about that with their dealerships, their service people, and customers are paying a premium for these machines, and yet they are getting great service. So it's in the long run, it's well worth it to buy a Caterpillar machine over some other brand.
Okay, and this one was to me, actually. Hi, Holly, would love to participate in CAT tour trip. Please, please. That's from Brenda Russell.
Well,
they formerly did that, but I don't know that they're actively offering field trip tours. Do you?
No, right. Yeah, right now, Holly, especially with all the COVID stuff going on, for the most part, I would say that these facilities like the one here in Green Valley, the big one in Peoria, Illinois, there's one over in Malaga, Spain. Those are not open to the general public. So it's pretty much, it'd be somebody like me that's coming in. They really haven't been having customers in. So until things kind of get calmed down, there won't be any of that. But when they do, I will let you know, Holly.
Oh, that'd be great.
For Camera Club members, I guarantee you will want to come. It will be a great time, and you'll see them put on a demonstration with this equipment. And then you can, after the demonstration, you can climb on it, you can take photos. It's a lot of fun. So yeah. There you go.
They did host a very nice time for us years ago, long before COVID.
Yes.
So that would be fun.
You bet.
Anybody else who has a question that has to do with this participation? Now would be the time to either send it by chat or unmute yourself, and then we'll see Kevin's next movie.
We'll show you one of the actual videos that we did.
Great.
All right, let's go ahead and we'll try that, and then we can answer questions again afterwards too. So hang on. So this will be the testimonial video with the customer, and you'll get to see him, and then an operator is interviewed as well.
I'm a 5th generation logger. We like to think that we take extremely good care of the environment. All of our sites get replanted, and it's like a harvest every few years, only every 40 years or 50 years. My dad logged a piece in the early 80s when I was really young, and just this fall we went back and I was actually able to cut the same unit that he cut, all those years ago. My little boy, he is going to be doing this just like I am. There's a chance that when we finish this, we'll get it replanted this fall, and maybe my kids could cut it again someday. That's the beauty of this industry, is it's renewable. You know, all these trees will grow back and we'll be able to harvest them again. In the logging industry, especially shovel logging, you only make money if you can produce lots of logs. CAT provides me with machines that run consistently, and so we're able to produce. CAT's been wonderful to deal with. The CAT finance team is great. The CAT commercial account has been great. Peterson is my dealer here. So when I call them, they're here. They know that time is money for me, and so we don't miss a beat with Peterson. I was having a job that was in town and we were tracking mud out on the road, and I called my salesman at, I believe, about 6:30 on a Saturday morning, and he met me at the store and got me a sweeper, and we took care of the mess, and the neighbors were happy. And you know, it's pretty hard to get anybody else to give me something at 6 o'clock on a Saturday morning. This is a timber sale that has about 8.5 million board feet, and we're expecting to finish this by early October. This will be framing lumber for houses all across the United States. We have 5 machines here currently, and we may move a couple more in if we get close to the deadline. First impressions of the new machine are the cab's big. The swing power is phenomenal. And the old 568 was phenomenal, and this one's even better. And they really increased the travel power, which was really important. Fuel efficiency to me is not ultra important as long as the machine is productive. But this machine is more productive than the old model and still 20% less fuel. So that's an added bonus. That's just like an extra few bucks in the bank every day. Well, my operators that are here, they've been with me for quite a while. They're very experienced operators. These guys are swinging the logs into the road and bucking them into logs and loading them on trucks.
I've been operating heavy equipment for 40 years, and my job here is just swing these trees in and make landings and keep the production rolling. To have a good shovel logger out here to swing these trees, you got to have stability, you got to have swing power, and you got to have travel power. Because if you don't have those 3 things, you don't have a machine that I can do my job successfully. You got to be able to pick up these big hairy things and swing them, and they do not pull easy. It's like trying to pull a plow, you know, with a little bitty garden tractor. If you don't have the swing power, you can't move them. You got to be able to stay on your tracks too. So being stable makes a world of difference. If you got to fight it, you can't get nothing done. I've had a few guys tell me that they didn't think I would like it because I'm kind of an old dinosaur anyway, but I like it because I like to be able to do things quick and get my job done without having to work myself to death to do it. I've run just about every kind of shovel that they've made, even some they don't make anymore. Now my favorite one is this one.
I would recommend this machine to anybody. It's the most powerful machine out there.
All right, there you go. That's one of the videos that we put together for them. The one thing that I love, Don, the operator that you saw there talking, that guy, we call it in the business, he's got some great pipes. His voice is deep. He must be like a 5-pack a day smoker because he's got just this great voice. And the one thing that was really funny was the guy who's the owner of the business, the logging company who we interviewed first, he said, now when you interviewed Don, he likes to drop a lot of F-bombs. So he said, you know, I'm talking to him about it. So, you know, he'll try to behave, but he said, can you edit that out if he does? And the funny thing was he never dropped one F-bomb while he was on camera. So it all worked out fine.
Oh, it was really impressive. I guess it would be a great ad for people and for public relations too.
Oh, definitely. Well, you know, it's there's the big push with any of these companies now is sustainability. And when we talk about the forestry industry, here we are, they're cutting down these trees, but they are being used to build houses and stuff like that. As soon as they're done, they come back in, they replant in about 30 or 40 years, depending on the type of tree that they're putting back in. They come back and harvest it again. This keeps going. So it's an important industry. It really is fun.
Yeah. It helps people build houses.
You bet.
So Brian and Susan have a comment. They'd like to point out how much we appreciate the sound recording. That lavalier mic setup really delivers.
Yeah, I think, Brian, the biggest thing with that's for those that don't know, that's that little microphone that we're attaching to the person's vest or whatever. One of the biggest issues you have with recording, especially outside, is you're looking at how is my light, and then the other meaning how's the light on my subject. I don't want the person being interviewed to be in direct sunlight, because then they're going to be squinty. We don't want them to have sunglasses on. We want them to have clear glasses or no glasses. And then from there, the other goodie we have to be concerned about is what's the wind direction, because we're going to get rustling in the microphone in the sound. So you kind of have to, when you're figuring out, like in a case like that, the client says to me, okay, where do you want the machine? So I have to determine, okay, I'm looking at the sun. How's the sun? Now, where's the wind direction? Okay, put the machine here. I want it at this angle, and away we go. And that's probably the biggest challenge that I think that anybody has when it comes to doing sound on location outside. Wind is a huge issue.
Excellent job. Excellent. Thank you. No wonder they hire you. Anybody else have a question? You can unmute yourself and ask, or you can chat it, or I have something else to show you. So if you go down to chat at the bottom of your screen and click it, there's a icon in the lower part, a little smiley face. And then below that, it says type message here. And if you want to give a thumbs up to Kevin, you can do that. And we'll see if you get a bunch of those. Again, go down to the bottom of your screen. It says share screen in green. Click on it. Then to go to Kevin, it should be the second one up, or to everyone if you want. Click that. Then go to the little smiley face. And if you have a thumbs up or other comment you want to make, just put it in. And then click return. Okay, the other thing is, if you would like to please, I don't know, Phil, can you put everybody's video on, or no? They have to do their own. Phil, I don't know where he is.
That's okay.
Okay. All right. So I will clap for you and for everyone. And if anyone wants to turn on their video and join me and knows how to do it, go for it. Oh,
Well, it's very
Phil
nice.
Hansen gives a big smile.
I appreciate this. I'll tell you what, it's fun. Like I said, I love doing what I'm doing here. It's fun to be able to go out and do this, and it's fun to share. And also the other goodie too, and that's why we enjoy Holly, are the different classes that the Camera Club offers. There's all kinds of stuff for everybody in terms of different interests. And for some of us that are a little more experienced, we're happy to help out and answer questions and share what we're doing. That makes it fun too. So join us for any of these different classes. And also we got all the field trips and stuff too. And those are a lot of fun as well. So get involved with the Camera Club, and hope to see you around.
We're getting some more comments coming in, and probably everybody'd like to hear them. So nice presentation. Thanks from Jack Chirac. So interesting. Thank you for an informative presentation from Catherine Gullen. Beth Stone, thanks so much for a great presentation. People like this. Paula's giving you a thumbs up, and I thought it was great. I thought, thank you for contributing. It really helps out. As Kevin says, there's a lot going on with our Camera Club, and it all depends on people volunteering and contributing what they can. And our next speaker series is going to come up. Let me see here. Had it right here. Anyway, it's the third Thursday in January, and that will be Paul McCrary. And he's going to be looking, you'll get an e-blast. He's going to be looking for street photography. So if you have a shot or two of great street photography, send it on to Paul McCreary. Thank you, Kevin. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Holly. Thank you, everybody. I hope that everybody has a very Merry Christmas and holiday season coming up. Be safe and have lots of fun.
Thanks so much.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. Bye. Hola, Holly.
Oh, hola. Merry,
Hola.
Feliz Navidad.
Muchas gracias. When are you coming?
January 12th.
Got you on the calendar.